Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fox Den, where leaders gather to grow. This is Stephen Allen Fox, and I'm here with my brother Randy Fox. We are,
Hello, everybody.
we are excited to bring you another great episode. A little bit new format for those that maybe were followed us our first season, where Randy and I will be together. We will bring up an inspirational impact story, unpack it, talk about it a little bit, and then we always have at the end a trending topic. And most of the time, neither of us know what the other one's topics are going to be. So it creates
Yeah, so
excitement. It's suspense.
it, it absolutely does. Let's see if I've got something for that. Let's see what we got. There you go. So today, this episode, Steve is going to be bringing up our inspirational impact, and then we're going to chat about that a little bit, and then I'll be bringing up the trending topic, which again, we do not know what the others are. So Steve, rock and roll.
All right. Well, this is a little bit of a personal story, which I've said to different people over the years. And it's a big reason why I continue to do what I do as an orchestra conductor. So many years back, I was conducting the Golden State Pops Orchestra at the Cabrillo Beach 4th of July, which is on the beach in San Pedro, California. They would set up a big stage, kind of like a rock and roll style stage with the side curtains to block wind and lights, and the sound system stretched across the whole beach. And we did it 4 years in a row. By the end of the fourth year, there were like 42,000 people. Really great experience. But one of those years, when we finished the performance to these tens of thousands of people, where we would play an hour and a half of film music and Broadway music, and then we'd play 20 minutes of patriotic music and marches while the fireworks were shooting off. We finished the performance. Everybody was packing up. I was out on the front of the stage. The lights were off at that point. I'm getting my scores and the things that I need. And somebody behind me had walked up. I would have to guess that the lady was probably somewhere in her mid to upper 70s, maybe. And she was crying. And I turned around and I said, well, hello. I said that I hope you enjoyed the performance. And she said, oh, these are happy tears. And she said, the last time that I got to hear the 1812 overture performed live, and that was every year when we did this, we would end our hour and a half performance with Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture, which is famous for being performed with fireworks. And that was kind of the segue into the fireworks show. We would finish it, and then the fireworks would begin, and we'd play the patriotic music and marches. So back to her, she's crying, she's looking at me. I'm kneeling down on the stage to try to be closer to level. And she says, the last time I heard the 1812 overture performed live was the last concert my husband was able to go to with me before he passed away. And you just brought him back to life. And in that moment, I didn't know what to say. But what it made me realize is that many of us have talents that we're given. Well, all of us are. We all have talents in something. And part of our job as responsible human beings in society, and just to have a happy life, is find the things you're good at. Find your passion. Find things that you have an ability for, not in making yourself feel better, but in serving others. And I realized in that moment that, I could spend all my time coming up with good ideas for concerts and hope that people are entertained by it. But I don't know what it is people need. And I don't know how what I do will reach them. And that could be for anybody in any walk of life. But it's just enough to do your best and to do it for others, because the unexpected person who needs it the most may be receiving it in that moment. And when that happens, you realize the responsibility and you realize the privilege that goes far beyond our own self-serving needs as to why we do it. And it became for me a motivation to keep doing it for all those people that I may never talk to, that I may never hear from, but that helping other people, providing them with these moments of whatever it is for them that they're receiving is enough. And I happen to do that through live concerts. Everybody else has their own talents and their own ways of doing those things. But I wanted to get your perspective on that concept of doing something for someone or for something that is beyond your even awareness, and just knowing and trusting, yeah, it's needed, it's out there, and that's enough reason to keep pushing forward, and why that is that matters.
Well, it is a great story, and it actually brings you to tears because you can see this woman, right? And so I thought of a lot of different things as you were sharing it, and I didn't know you were going to share this story today. Uh, it is first and foremost, I think for everyone listening, it is a reminder that when you wake up in the morning, you have been sustained through the night. We don't keep our heart beating. We don't keep our body breathing, right? God takes care of that. He has given us another day today. And now, what are you going to do with it? And so often, and I have been there, that we get so caught up in the tasks and the to-do list and the bills that need to be paid or the money that needs to be made or the go here or the go there or the kids this and the kids that, and it's all important, but the whole, what you're bringing to mind for me is that in all that we do, in recognizing um, the impact that our influence has, whether it's our words or our actions on the world around us. I always say, it's in all my books, it's at the end of all my keynotes, right? I always say the world is waiting for you. And I say to people, it may not be the entire world, but your world is waiting for you. In that moment, you didn't even know, but that woman was in your world and she was waiting for you. And what you didn't even know it. But when we show up, and it reminded me of several key things that I have been taught and learned in my life. And one of them, many, many years ago, a friend, leader, and pastor of mine said, Randy, when you just don't know what to do, or when there's so much to do, the next thing you do is the next right thing. And our grandfather, Papa, poor Fred, as we knew, right, our mom's father, he would always say, no matter what you're doing, you don't do it halfway. You give it everything you got. And he didn't say halfway. He said half something else, right? But it was, you give everything you got in what you do in life, no matter where you are. Because in that moment, that is where you are. And the people around you, the people impacted by what you do, need you to do the next right thing, which is to give everything you got in that moment. And if that means conducting a show, or it means being with the child in a classroom, or it means something else, we just have to be in the moment. And
I
it
think
reminded me while you were talking about Dr. Seuss, this is my last one. Dr. Seuss had a quote that is so powerful yet simple. Never miss the moment before it becomes a memory.
yeah.
And when you live in such a way that you give everything that you have, you are authentically who you are, and you're not worried about the outcome, right? You just do everything that you can Because if you didn't give it your all, that woman isn't as impacted as she is. And you didn't realize she was there. And I think that's the whole point of our lives, is that we've woken up today by God's grace. We are given an opportunity to go into our portion of the world and give it everything that we have, whatever's in front of us that day, never missing a moment. Because I want you to think about this too, Steve. There are just as many people out there like that woman in all of our listeners' lives that they actually never come up to them and tell them the impact. But we have to realize that those people are all around us every day, and the world can be changed by us when we show up and deliver the kind of excellence you did that day.
Well, for me, the most powerful part of what I learned from that experience is it's not about why you think you're doing what you're doing. It's that you're being used to impact other people because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And how that gets used and in what way it impacts other people, you don't know, you don't understand, and you're not supposed to. Just do what you do and trust that the rest is taken care of. And that's what I learned in that moment. I never intended what that outcome to be. I don't know how that felt to her. I know what she told me. But at the end of the day, if I try to go into everything thinking, oh, well, this is gonna impact people this way, or it's gonna impact people that way, what I'm doing is I'm putting my own life experience, my own filter, and my own opinion ahead of what's actually important. And what's actually important is do it and do it great. That doesn't mean be perfect. It doesn't mean you don't have room for improve. It doesn't mean there's not people better than you. That's not that word great. I'm not using in the terms of the competitive world we live in. It's what you were saying. Show up and give it 110%. And if you do that with something that truly resonates with you as who the person you are in a way that you're talented with and that you're good with, it ripples and it affects other people. A great example I'll give to you is I love going to Disneyland and watching the fireworks shows or the parades or Fantasmic or anything like that. And it makes me inspired to watch it. But what I love almost equally as well is I'll turn and I'll look at the other people. And when I see how what they're watching is inspiring them, that inspires me to go do things that can inspire other people like that. The
Yeah,
Disney people are not
you're
Disney doesn't make these shows going, oh, somebody's going to get so inspired that they're going to go get better at XYZ. No, but that is the outcome,
well,
because
yeah. The experience, the memory. You're right. Watching a father. I had one of those moments at Disney here in Florida not that long ago where there was a dad and his daughter, and they were just starting to roar as the fireworks began and the castle started lighting up and the music was going. She was probably 3 years old on his shoulders, and to listen and watch them experience this, it brought joy to me. And I think you're exactly right. Everything you're saying, it honestly, it reminds me a lot about my keynote off of the book, The Call to Excellence, because you said it. This isn't about perfection. This is about being excellent and showing up in the moment and delivering it. Not just because there's a paycheck or someone's going to do something in return. Yes, those things can happen. But this is how we change the world for the better, is we're not looking for what's in it for us, but we're just saying, I'm going to show up and do my best because that's what I'm called to do. I'm called to be excellent in what I do. And it is countercultural to what you're talking about, because our culture, right, continues to push um, that things are about you deserve the best car, or you deserve more money, or it's all of this competition. And there's nothing wrong with competition. I love sports. But what sports is really about is how hard am I willing to work in adversity, and how can I be a great teammate, and how do I overcome, and when I win I can be gracious in winning, and when I lose I can be still humble in it and get better for the next time. Take all of that and apply it into your life, and maybe, just maybe, there's somebody who, now our mom is 80 years old, maybe she's in that audience, maybe she's hearing you, maybe her grandchild's in your classroom. I don't know where these listeners might be working, but you don't understand the impact and the influence, right? uh, no halfway. Show up with excellence. It's
Yeah,
a great
and,
one.
and I gotta make a comment that I think we should use as a topic of one of our upcoming podcasts, but I'm gonna bring it up here so that we don't forget. You made the comment about the Dr. Seuss quote. Uh, you know, don't miss the experience now before it becomes a memory. I just want to say, and like I said, this should be a topic in a future podcast, but I just saw a video of a speaker, and I really can't remember who the speaker was now, unfortunately, but he made a comment about the living in the moment that I think relates to that. And that was the concept that the only moment you have is right now. Okay, we've all heard that. Here's the part that I thought was interesting. He said, because if you're focused on the past, you're using the moment now to think about a memory. But that memory is still only existing right now because now is when you're thinking about it. And if you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about something that has not happened yet, but you're making that future moment that has never happened yet take up the space that is happening now. And that is why you're missing what's happening to you now, because your mind is focused on the memory or focused on the anticipation of a future memory. And where the mind is where your energy is. The moment you realize, but I'm allowing that to happen now, you start to realize what you're missing. I think that could be a whole subject later, but it relates to what you were saying, so I just thought I'd bring it up.
It does. Well, trending topic time, and we got to wait for it here. Are you ready?
Yep.
I feel like there should be a cymbal crash though after that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that inspiring impact moment. I hope listeners let us know what you're feeling about that, how it's impacting your life, how you can take that and go change your world. Trending topic time. I've got a very trending topic as we are just recently, most of the United States, including where I live in Florida, has just had unbelievably record-setting cold temperatures. And I mean, it plunged down, ice storms in Tennessee, 12 to 8 inches of snow in the Carolinas, even along the coast and the beaches. There was snow flurries along the coast in Florida. We set records. We were at 20 degrees for 10, 12 hours a night for multiple nights in a row. Hasn't ever happened. And what's interesting, and I was just thinking about, this topic like starts to take over, right? The weather and everything that's happening. And now people have to respond to it. Maybe they lost power, or they can't get to work, or they had water main breaks, or, maybe not as consequential, but it's still an impact. There's a lot of vegetation on people's property, and they have to spend money, or maybe it impacts our crops, and just a whole variety of things. And I just start thinking about, we get really caught up in, and I find myself even kind of going, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I'm going to lose this palm tree, or I'm going to have to replant things, or it's not going to look as nice, and this is going to be time, this is going to be money. And it just started to get me to think about how none of us can control the weather. Yet we can get very wrapped up and concerned about what it's going to be or what it's going to do to something. And the reality of it is that I had some neighbors that they had water pipes on the outside of the house. We have those in Florida that they had broke. Water was flying out of them. 4 neighbors, and we had to all help pitch in to get their water shut off, and then they'd have to call somebody to come fix it. And it's like, really, isn't that all we can do in situations like that? Is we get so worried about what's gonna happen, or what could happen, or what did happen, and really, in some ways, I think that all we can do is what's in front of us that needs to be done. And we spend a lot of time and energy um, kind of talking about what you're talking about, but I'm not saying it from an inspirational, I'm just saying it from a trending topic. Weather starts to take over and we're all freaked out about the storm that's going to come. Then we're freaked out that it came. And it's like, what do you need to do? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it reminds me of a phrase that the high performance psychologist Michael Gervais used with my high school band when I would have him come in and work with them. And I learned a lot from him that I still apply today to my life. And that was control what you can, let go of the rest. You know, these types of phrases like that these psychologists use, those are not hot button topics that they throw out there because they're trying to make money off of a cool phrase. They are the way to have a happier life. There are, in your life, things are going to happen that you cannot control. You can prep for them the best that you can, but whether or not they happen and to what degree they happen, you have no control over, and it's just how you respond to that. I won't say the word react, because react is a term that is more connected to emotional response. We react. But the way that you respond to things you don't have control over, it carries more of a I'm preparing for this. I'm figuring out how to deal with it. I'm going to cope. I'm not just going to emotionally respond. And ultimately, my opinion is this: why is change so scary for people? And I use the word scary on purpose because I believe it's not as simple as just people don't like change. No, that's not what it is. The reason that they fear this weather and then they don't know how to deal with it after the fact, it's not because we don't like change. It's because people don't like fear. They don't like the unknown. And when you live your life a certain way, you can predict the future. And when something interferes that makes it so that everything you're used to is going to be different, it's not the unknown that we're afraid of. It's, well, what's this going to mean for me? What's going to happen to my palm tree? It might die. Yeah, it might die. Get a new palm tree. I mean, it's not worth it. It's the fear of the unknown. And ultimately, as Michael Gervais used to say, fear is, from a psychological perspective, is rooted in one concept, and that is control. We're only afraid of things that we can't control. You can't control a spider when you see it, so you're afraid. You can't control what's coming at you in the dark because you can't see it, so we're afraid. If the lights are on, you're not afraid because you have control again. If that spider's dead, you're not happy because it's dead. You're happy because it's not out of control, moving where you don't expect it to move. It's all about control. So when you start to just accept the fact that you can't control everything, fear lessens. And then you can actually plan for the future. You can actually respond to something and not just emotionally react. And I think that, that might be an exaggerated example of what you're talking about with the weather, but it's all rooted in that same concept. We don't like things that take us out of control. So we become afraid of them. And then obviously the news out here in California, it can drizzle and they call it storm watch. Well, yeah, they use the word storm watch because it puts a little fear out there, which then makes you want to watch the show because, oh my gosh, I can't lose control. Let's go buy all the toilet paper because a drizzle is coming. That's what it creates in all of us, and it's.
Well, I like the responding versus reacting, and I'm with you, right? Because I'm looking at my trees right now, going, I don't know if that tree's going to make it, right? I don't like the idea that I have to maybe spend more time. But to your point, control what you can control, respond appropriately as necessary, and then you don't have as much fear, you don't have as much anxiety, and you're not worrying about things that haven't happened, that maybe don't happen. And if it's out of your control and it does happen, respond to it effectively, but reacting emotionally, not much in the way of help. Well, I think we're getting close on our time frame here.
Yeah, so I have one last takeaway for you related to that too. My assistant, when I was a band director, Edie Rice, had a great phrase that she always said to me and other people if they came to her with stress about something that they had to make a decision about, or something about, oh my gosh, my teenage kid is acting crazy. And she used to always say this to them: 100 years from now, when you're not here, this doesn't matter. And it just puts things back into perspective that many times we make it a much bigger deal than it actually is. And if 100 years from now, so ask yourself when you start to get stressed, 100 years from now, will this matter? If it will, because it's going to impact your children or your grandchildren or other people who live around you, then that is something to put some concern into. That is something to spend some energy on. If 100 years from now, when you're gone, it's not going to matter, get over it. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yep. I like it. Well, as always, folks, we appreciate you being with us, and we hope that you were inspired today to take some action and through our discussion and improves your professional and your personal life. Randy Fox, foxpoint.net, Stephen Allen Fox.com, right, Stephen?
That's it. Yep.
You can always reach out. And until next time, keep growing as a leader. We appreciate you joining us here on the Fox Den.